One, two, three, test. Okay, so we will start with the webinar, the boom of the mobile commerce and the key of its success. So about me, my name is Mercedes. I am a UX and UI designer in Brintia. These are my contact details. I would love to hear from you if you have any questions or if you want to receive any more information about any particular subject regarding this webinar or anything else. So about Brintia, we belong to a group. We are compounded by Bravent, Brintia, and EduWork. We work on a wide range of projects and sectors, creating some custom solutions for anything related to technology, from web, mobility, artificial intelligence, extended reality, and so on. We are located in Madrid. And for today's webinar, so this is the agenda. We will go through the basic points of mobile commerce, some statistics, some good practices, the main audience for this business, differences between mobile and e-commerce, and lastly, some App Store optimization. So let's start with the basic. What is mobile commerce? Mobile commerce is basically a business transaction performed on a handheld device. Mobile commerce can go from online purchases to bank transactions or even money transferring. It is like an extension, or let's say like a reasonable evolution of e-commerce, which makes the user's transaction a bit more simple. So why I call it an evolution, we will see that in a bit. So just as I mentioned, mobile transaction can be done in many fields of e-commerce. So some industries or services involved are, for example, money transfers, ticketing, boarding passes, digital content purchase or delivery, banking, payments, also location-based services, like, for example, the supermarket apps that work when you're located inside the store, even mobile marketing, coupons. There most likely will be more than this. It's just to give you a wider idea of the reach of mobile commerce. So for some more concrete figures about mobile commerce, and so this will not come as a shock, but by 2021, sales on mobile phones are expected to be the 54% of total e-commerce sales. Phone screens are getting bigger, and also technology is getting sharper. So on the contrary, over 60% of the buyers have had 60% of the buyers have a bad image of a brand when they don't offer a good user experience on their site. Also, most of the people would not recommend a brand if it was not easy to navigate on their mobile site. And also, lastly, 41% would go to the competition after a bad user experience. So about what we call a good user experience, we will see that also in a moment. So regarding mobile usage, 81% of the purchases are done spontaneously. For example, you're in a train, you're checking your Instagram, and then a publicity comes up through your posts, and you see, oh, a cool backpack. So you click, and then you buy it. And that happens very often. In 2017, 15 of the entire internet traffic was coming from mobile devices, and 72% of marketing and e-commerce managers also include mobile strategies on their campaigns. And lastly, people download twice as much apps as they remember, or even if they don't need it. As average, 20 apps are installed and only 11 are used. So what makes for a good mobile user experience? After all these numbers, let's get into something more creative. So what is the difference between a good user experience and a bad one? If we are designers, we have read tons of articles of what are the best experiences and how they shift throughout the years. But for a regular mobile user, they sense that as an awkwardness, the extensive time it takes to get what they are looking for, when using an app or a mobile site, but they might not be able to tell exactly what the problem is. So here are some pointers. So a great user experience is a lot about common sense. For example, when you're navigating through an application, the best thing is always to follow the natural flow of the eyes. When using forms, for example, always allow the users to scroll down or to the main call to action instead of going in zigzag. Also, never put important information as placeholders, since it will disappear in the moment the user just clicks on the input. I will show you here some a few examples to explain. We will go through them quite quickly, since there are a lot of quality blogs and studies and books about this topic. So it's more about the general use of and mobile commerce. So the use of proximity also helps the user to group elements and see them as a whole. This applies to every element on a site, not only forms. So adjusting also the technology of the app or mobile site to the information expected will make the user's life much easier, and he will appreciate it, and he will also come back. Also giving a proper naming to the actions makes a great difference on mobile or any platform. The user must always know what action he's triggering when he clicks on it. If he's filling out an address, or is he completing an order? Is he going first to a resume screen? So the difference is if a button says review order instead of just simply say submit, maybe both buttons will trigger the same action, but the information is just more accurate. And the last one, and has the biggest impact on mobile, you always need to keep it simple. You are working on a reduced screen. You should only be seeing what is necessary and nothing more. So about the mobile commerce, the target and its audience. So, well, it's no groundbreaking news that every year the percentage of people with smartphones grow. Nowadays, it's very rare to find someone that doesn't own a smartphone. Since 2012, there has been more mobile users than internet ones. And of course, the youngest adults from 18 to 24 years old are the biggest users, with a share of almost, let's say, 100%. So round it up. And talking about demographic, age is not the only variable. So some countries tend to shop more on their laptops and some others on their tablets or on their own mobile. So China and Asia in general, they had the biggest growth on mobile commerce in the last year, tripling the numbers of years before. So also in the States, for example, the biggest mobile shoppers are middle-aged people over maybe 50 years old. So it is true we have many channels for purchasing, but the increase of usage of mobile devices has also changed the market in a way that people have so much more access to information, look for competitive prices. So people, for example, buying electronics on a physical store, they check on mobile apps or even the same brand's website and see if there are more competitive prices, if it's more convenient to shop online or to shop at the store. Or for clothing, for example, they just check the sizes, colors, but then they buy online. So, and to extend this last thought, as you can see, mobile shoppers in Indonesia and followed by Asian countries, they have now increased by 1.5%, the maximum, and then they reach down. Then we have some European countries and also some South American countries. So although the web and the mobile world, they both have technologies that are based on the same fundamental principles, and they aim at making the consumer's life easier, there are a few key differences between them. So let's check the mobile commerce versus the e-commerce. So to go through some basics again, so both of them have, they are both activities and they are transactions done through the internet, with the difference that mobile commerce is, well, done on mobile devices, while e-commerce involves any kind of device with internet. It includes as well laptops, computers, and even mobile devices. But m-commerce does not necessarily need internet, even though this point is relative. There are actually some apps that allow offline purchases. Then they think if they need to when the device is again online. And since the mobility in mobile commerce is higher, we use the devices themselves as a way to pay or scan a code or whatever we need to. And also, lastly, platforms tend to be limited for e-commerce. Most of the app market is launched for mobile. So every year we have more desktop apps, but as of right now, the market for mobile is much, much wider. So people began talking about mobile apps as the future and as a must-have for any business soon after Apple or Google first launched their app stores. And while for some businesses there's certainly a value behind a branded app, there's still some doubt over whether every business stands to benefit from having one. It will depend on the sector, the market, or the target. One thing for sure, mobile apps main drivers are convenience, speed, and storage. So apps, for example, they work natively, meaning they gain from the mobile technology. For example, logging with a touch ID or even face recognition. So they load and respond faster. The UI is better fitted in a native app than on an optimized website. The experience will more likely be better since you are not depending on any browser. And one last point is the payment. So Google or Apple, they have their own digital wallets, and it's very convenient to pay with them. So this graphic is from 2015. Even 3 years ago, there was a big range between apps and browsers. So nowadays, that number is most definitely higher, but between browsers and apps. And coming to the last point, so App Store optimization. So with the mobile tech world evolving as fast as ever, so brands must go an extra mile to increase app discoverability, download, conversion rates, positive reviews, and so on. So think of yourselves when you're looking for a cooking app or a traveling app, whatever you're interested in. So what are the things that you notice and value? What gives the credibility to an app that triggers a download? An app's name, simple, smart, and not obvious. Maybe have the company's name on it. Just as in search engine optimization, the use of keywords also influences the discoverability and the ranking of an app. Same with the description. This is the opportunity to use as many keywords as so this is the opportunity to rank an app and target the audience by using the correct keywords. Always remember that the description has to make sense not only for the engines, but also for the human readers. And the logo, of course, a great quality logo can cause just the first impression that a brand needs. Also in an app store, the screenshots, they will give the users a compressed journey of what your apps of your app's features. They should always be up to date, and most importantly, they should be real. So what you're promising the user is what they should get after when they download the actual application. And lastly, so we have localization. So having multiple languages and currencies will definitely boost any user to select an app over another regular untranslated one. It will give the user a better experience starting from the App Store. So this concludes the webinar. It was a bit shorter than what was expected. So if there are any questions, please feel free to ask. So these are my contact details. You can contact me anytime, personally or in Brintia. We are always available. So here are locations and the numbers. And thank you for joining.